Hello, everyone. Tourette syndrome is a neurological condition that shows up as involuntary movements or sounds known as tics. It afflicts 1 in 100 school-age children, and it is challenging because sometimes it's misdiagnosed or misunderstood, mistreated, and often presents itself with other conditions like ADHD, OCD, or anxiety. And so I am very excited, humbled, and honored to be sitting down at Blue Bears Cafe with Hilary Kruchowy, the Executive Director of the New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome and Associated Disorders. This center has made its mission to provide education and resources to families who have loved ones who are afflicted with this condition. And the work of the center is so important because it allows families to come with questions and concerns, and it also provides individuals with Tourette's the opportunity to feel understood, to feel empowered, and really hopeful for the future. And so, Hilary, thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you for the opportunity.
For those who may not know much about Tourette syndrome, can you start by explaining what it really is and what you wish more people understood about this condition?
Thanks for the question. I want everybody to know that Tourette syndrome is more common than you think. It's a neurological disorder. It is genetic. Many times it is passed on by a family member. It is hard to get a diagnosis. There is no medical test for it. Usually a neurologist will track the individual's history. And if a child has a vocal tic and one or more motor tics for over a year, that's when they receive the diagnosis.
Can you explain that difference? What is a vocal tic and what is a motor tic?
A vocal tic is maybe when they nose sniffing, or they will clear their throat. And a motor tic is more when their arms twitch or their knees twitch. Sometimes they roll their head back. And the tics are involuntary. There's nothing that they can do. It's sort of like an itch that they need to scratch.
And what would you like more people to know about this condition?
Most parents don't recognize it because, just like you and I, before I started working at NJCTS, I wouldn't have known. But most people don't even think that it is something out of the ordinary. If their child is sniffling a lot, they take them to the pediatrician, and they take them to the ENT, and it takes some time to get the diagnosis.
Part of the reason why we wanted to conduct this interview series is because we really wanted to get into the hearts of the founders and why someone even created this organization. So can you give us a little sense of how this organization came into being? Who was the founder, and a little bit about
our founder is Faith Rice, and she has a son with Tourette syndrome. Mm-hmm. And this was back in the late 80s, early 90s. It took 8 years for him to get a diagnosis. He had a throat clearing tic and some motor tic. It wasn't identifiable by any of the physicians that they had been to. So when they finally reached the diagnosis, the doctor sent her to the library to do her own research. And she felt very alone. She had no one to turn to, no resources. And she felt that it was important to her that no family should go through what she'd been through. So she immersed herself in the world of Tourette syndrome, got involved with Tourette Association of America, founded the New Jersey chapter, and set to work to make sure that no parent had to go through what she went through. She had many successful accomplishments. She lobbied the state of New Jersey for funding for our organization. She identified the fact that there's not enough research being done into Tourette syndrome. She contacted a professor at Rutgers, Dr. J. Tishfield, and asked him why he wasn't researching Tourette syndrome, because she learned that he was researching autism. Mm-hmm. And he said, because there's not enough genes for me to study. And she said, well, I will get you the genes, and I will get you what you need to start studying the cause. So they founded a repository at Rutgers, which is still used today for any scientists who are studying the cause and potential treatments of Tourette syndrome. She realized that there are not enough practitioners who help, enough psychologists who help people with Tourette syndrome. So she founded a clinic at Rutgers within the psychology department, where we train future providers to help kids and families with Tourette syndrome. And then she launched a whole series of programs to provide a community, a sense of community for the children and their parents who were diagnosed.
You had mentioned something about it taking 8 years before the son was diagnosed. Was it during this time where they were figuring out these, that the data for the number of the gene pool was insufficient? Was it during that time, or
no? It was much after. It's only in the last 10, 15 years that they've identified some genes that have the condition.
Wow. So prior to that, when she first started out on this, she had no idea that this was a genetic condition.
Yeah.
I see. You've mentioned all the obstacles that the organization had in the past. What are some of the challenges you're facing today?
I would say our challenges are very similar to when we were founded 20, 25 years ago. There's still a lack of awareness of what Tourette syndrome is. There's still a lot of stigma attached to it, a lot of stigma attached to the diagnosis. When a parent learns that their child has Tourette syndrome, they are very afraid that their kid won't have a normal life. They're just in the middle of this tough age when they're 7 or 8, having the tics, OCD, ADHD, and they can't imagine their child, thriving in high school, going to college. So we're there to give a sense of hope and community, and for the parents to see that they're not alone.
What are some of the things, some of the events, some of the workshops, some of the educational resources that your center is providing to the parents?
For 20 plus years, we've had a family retreat weekend every year in June. It's a 48-hour weekend at a local camp where parents bring their children. It's the first time children meet other kids with Tourette syndrome. It's the first time parents meet other parents of kids with Tourette syndrome. And they exchange ideas. They build a community. I went to my first camp weekend this past June, and there was a mom who expressed to me that her son was a little bit hesitant about coming for the weekend. And within 5 seconds, he ran over to her and said, "That boy has the same tic as me."
Wow.
At that moment, he realized he wasn't alone in his diagnosis and his journey.
Such a sense of relief for that child and for the parent.
And for the mom to see that it like a light bulb went off and he realized that he was not alone.
And where is this camp held?
It's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at Black Rock Retreat.
So is there transportation provided to the parents, or the
parents meet there on Friday night and we're there until Sunday.
So it's parents and children?
Parents and children, yes. And we break the kids away from the parents so that the parents have a chance to speak. And we always have psychologists there and neurologists to answer questions. And then the kids have a chance to interact with the other kids. And we have buddies there. And the buddies are in high school kids, college kids who have Tourette syndrome. And they're there to provide support to the kids. And again, show them I'm a successful, thriving kid. I'm at this wonderful college, and I was there where you are, and it's all going to be okay.
So, and that's an important point, right, to bring out. So these children learn to then, manage this condition, and then can even go on to college and lead a successful life.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And you had talked about an academy, a leadership academy. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So one of the other programs that we have for the last 13, 14 years is a leadership academy. We host it at Rutgers. It's a 4-day program. It's for high school students. They come for 4 days. They get the opportunity to live in a dorm, test out what it's like to be on a college campus, sharing a room with someone.
Wow.
It's tough for kids with Tourette syndrome to know they're going to share a room with somebody because they're mindful of their tics and they don't want to keep their roommate up. But in this case, both roommates have the same sort of tics and they are comfortable with their situation. We teach leadership skills. We provide access to psychologists, neurologists to answer their questions. And we basically just give them a chance to get to know each other and share their stories. Again, we have coaches similar to the buddies, older kids who've already walked the walk and who are professionals. College students may come back and they donate their time to share their expertise and, help these kids navigate their way through applying to college acceptance, dating, driving, all the things that we take for granted, but are a little more challenging for kids with Tourette syndrome.
We talked about the Leadership Academy. I would love to ask you, how would you like to see that flourish?
I'd love to see our attendance grow. I would love to maybe replicate it throughout the country. We've had students come from as far as New Zealand, from England, from the different states. We have a regular student who comes from Texas every year. We had somebody from Colorado. So we know there is a need for it. The kids really flourish from meeting other kids who have the same, have Tourette syndrome as they do. They create a network. They find their people. So many moms have said, when I dropped off my kid, they were very nervous. And when I picked them up, they were a different kid. They're much more confident. They have learned how to advocate for themselves. And they know that they are different, but they know that there's other kids who have the same things as them.
And I guess it's giving the younger ones hope when they see the older ones come there, showing that they've made, they're leading successful lives.
Yes,
gone into college, etc.
Right. Our coaches, we have a nurse who comes every year. We have a HR professional, a successful accountant. So they all have great jobs. They went to great colleges, and they are kind of a
role model.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Models. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so would you say that for parents who are, kind of apprehensive, should we send our kids to the Leadership Academy or not? Would you say that a good way to motivate these parents is to say that this is a way of the kids paying forward, where they can now go and just mentor some younger child to be able to then,
Yes, if they're feeling good about their diagnosis and they're comfortable, then yes, help the kid the generation coming behind them to help them feel comfortable.
What makes you proud of working here with this organization?
I'm humbled to take the reins from Faith Rice, our founder, and then our executive director, Pat Phillips. I see the impact that we're making. When I meet these parents who talk about how our youth advocate presentation, our faculty in service, or the camp experience has changed their child's life, it makes me grateful for the opportunity, feel good about my work, and realize that I have a purpose.
Now, when you joined as the director of development, and now you're the executive director as of last year. How different is that role?
It's very different. I used to just be in charge of donor relations and our special events, but now I get to craft the vision for the organization. And we just completed our 3-year strategic planning. And I was able to identify the things that are important to me for us to do moving forward into the future. Very important to me is to build awareness of Tourette syndrome and of our programs, the need for research. We are very grateful for the state funding that we received for the last 20 years. But as with other organizations, our funding has been cut this year. So I'm able to lead the effort to raise more funds so that we can become independent of the state and keep ourselves relevant and able to move into the future. It's been a great opportunity to lead the organization as I've always envisioned over the last 30 years of my career.
And so as the visionary now, what would you say is the one big need? We're hoping that by highlighting your organization in our social media and among our clientele, that people get to not only be aware of, the condition that you're helping support and make families aware, but we're trying to see how best to help you and how our clientele who are watching, could be able to help. So what would you say is the big need?
The big need is awareness about Tourette syndrome and the need for more research into the cause and treatment, and to the and for kindness. If you see a child is ticking, remember it's not voluntary. It's not a behavioral issue. They're struggling. Their parents are struggling. It's a tough diagnosis. And I just want to create a world where people are accepting of all differences.
And to see the legacy for your organization for the future, what do you envision as something that you would just be so proud of that you succeed in accomplishing for the future?
It all comes down to Faith's original vision for the organization to support families. And there are many ways we can do that, but the 3 things that come to mind right now are to lessen the time of diagnosis. At our family summit last February, I heard the parents talk about how it still takes a long time to get a diagnosis. And the earlier the kids get diagnosed, the quicker the parents can call us. We start using our services, and everyone can be more comfortable with the diagnosis. Still, there's a need for research. There are only 3 universities in the United States that are doing Tourette syndrome research. So they still don't know what causes it. They still don't have medications, and I'd love to see that further along. So I want to raise awareness about that. And the third thing is, there's probably a kid in every school district that has Tourette syndrome, and we want to make it easier for those teachers to educate them, to understand what it's like to have Tourette syndrome, that these kids need a break. They need to step out of the classroom. They need the extra time. They need their 504s and IEPs. So I'd love to make it easier to educate these kids.
That's great. And in order to bring all of that vision together, the 3 things that you listed, where can we start? Where can you start? How can we as the community help you?
Obviously, as a nonprofit, we always need support for our initiatives, especially this year. It's pretty difficult because we've lost some of our state fundings. We have a gala next month at the Bridgewater Marriott, October 16th. We have an annual walk event. It's a walk event to create awareness for NJCTS as well as Tourette syndrome. We raise funds there. We'd love for people to sign up for our email list, see what we're up to, follow us on social media, and share our stories.
It's awesome. Lori, thank you so much. I know when I first approached you, I had no idea what Tourette syndrome was, and you enlightened me, and I am so just amazed at the work that your center is doing, what you're doing, and all the people who work for the organization, how they're promoting this awareness among families. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share our story, share our mission, and tell the community about Tourette syndrome.
So there you have it, folks. We have just completed the interview with Hilary Kruchowy, who is the executive director of the New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome and Associated Disorders. We're at Blue Bears again, which means that we're still trying to connect and bring these organizations together. Everyone is sort of helping complement the other. So until next time, stay safe.